And welcome to Ask Angelika live on Facebook. Good afternoon, Angelika.
Good afternoon, Stephen. Good
Right.
afternoon, anybody else.
Right. Well, good afternoon, everyone, really. This is Angelika's twice a month show, or bi-weekly, really. And if you have any questions for Angelika while we're broadcasting, if you do put them into the Facebook post, we'll see them live on BeLive.tv, and Angelika will answer them. Now, today's question is, Kim, well, you tell me where you found it, and then you can talk about it.
It was a question on Quora. Somebody there said, how do German children learn grammar? I think actually the question was, how do German children learn the German gender and all the different cases and everything that goes with it? And I answered it, but then afterwards it sort of got me thinking about language learning in general, because people always think children learn their language really easy because everybody learns it and you just automatically do it. And you often find posts where people saying, oh, you need to learn a language when you're young because when you're old you can't really do it. And luckily we also find posts which say, actually, that's a lot of rubbish. You can learn a language quite well as an adult as well. So if we think back, how do children learn their own language? So a baby is born and it doesn't talk at all, it just screams, which is probably how some adults feel when they come across a foreign language for the first time. And then after a while, they start making sort of some gobbledygook noises that nobody understands. And then later on, they start copying their parents and try and repeat what they're saying. And in the beginning, it doesn't sound anything like it. So that's what you so-called baby talk you get, like da, 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 ma, 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 and whatever else they may say, until gradually it turns into proper words. And then what happens? As they're getting a little bit older, they're beginning to realize some patterns, because they keep on hearing it from their parents or any other adults constantly. And then they try and use the patterns. A good example in English, past tense, if they want to talk about something in the past, they realize that watch in the past tense is watched. So I watched TV, or I played in the garden. So then, of course, they say, I go to the toilet, mummy, or I eated my sandwich. And under normal circumstances, they then get corrected. So mummy would say, I ate my sandwich, or I went to the toilet. And the next day, the next week, they may make the same mistake again, but with general correction, they then pick it up. And that's how it carries on until they go to school, where they do learn the grammar. And that, again, is in any language. So English children learn English grammar, German children learn German grammar. What happens then if it's your own language? By the time you finish school and you're an adult, you talk your language automatically and you actually can't remember anything about grammar anymore. So if a foreigner said to you, why do you say so-and-so? You shrug your shoulders and you say, you just do, because you probably can't remember any of the grammar.
I mean,
unless you're...
You've learned by rote over a number of years and it's become ingrained.
You started learning by rote, and then you did have some grammar lessons at school, and sometimes you probably think, or you may not consciously think it as a child, but it then makes sense, the grammar makes sense, and you can use it. And then you do it subconsciously, most of the time correct, but even our own language and our mother tongue, we don't always say everything correctly. We make mistakes. Sometimes we notice it, sometimes we don't. And you could learn a foreign language like that. A good example is Duolingo. Coming back, we actually spoke about it briefly last time when we said about making notes and looking at the grammar notes that Duolingo have. Now, you could learn like a child by rote, by just doing things over and over again. And Duolingo is a nice example because you type in a sentence in Duolingo and you make a mistake and Duolingo just says, no, it should be so-and-so. And then you know that at some stage you get the same sentence again. And if you do it wrong again, it comes sometimes the next one straight away. So Duolingo keeps on repeating the same thing until you finally type in the correct word, or you tick the right word, or whatever the choice is. And you can carry on doing that for a long time without even understanding really, why did I have to choose that second word and not the first one? And eventually it will stick and you will do it automatically. That's similar to how the children have learned. It sounds really easy, but if you think how long it's taking a child to learn proper English or German or whichever your language is, yeah, they've done this for about 6 years, 5 years, 6 years, depending on where you live, before they go to school. So it gives you a bit of an idea. Yes, you could learn your foreign language like that by doing everything by rote or parrot fashion, by only using Duolingo like that and not use anything else. But as adults, we have got one advantage towards the little children, because we can already read. We can look at grammar rules and we can have a look at them. And then we realize, going back to the German gender, for example, we can actually learn some of the rules and work out why certain words are masculine or feminine or neuter, and then work out what's the score with these different cases, what's an accusative and dative and genitive and nominative. Do we need to know this, or can we just work it out on our own? And by using the grammar, you can then use that as shortcuts and therefore pick it up a lot quicker.
Right, I'll just take that off screen. Right, well that basically was a wonderful, interesting dissertation about how children learn grammar, which is very important, isn't it?
It is. And well, like I said, we all start in our own language by learning, by copying our parents and picking up things. But it does take quite a while. People are always saying, oh, children learn it so easy. But if you think, it's quite a while before children pick it up properly. You have all your baby talk, and then gradually it turns into proper sentences. And then at school, they still have to learn everything. It's a long time. And as adults, we're always impatient. I know we want it to be done yesterday. I start learning a new language today. And then tomorrow, I'm still not fluent. Well, obviously it won't go that quick, but we should be able to pick up things a bit quicker than the children do, if we don't just learn it by parrot passion.
Indeed. And we've just been joined by Ashan Malik, and a question which you might want to comment on. Please guide me with material to prepare students for A1 Goethe. Thank you.
Oh, I would have to have a look. My first guess, but I'm guessing that Ashan will have already looked at that, is the Goethe Institute themselves. They will have quite a lot of material for their exams, including the A1. I don't know too much about the Goethe exam itself, so I could really only either say, go and have a look what they've got on offer, or look for general things for A1. But if you're doing an exam, and it doesn't matter which exam it is, so whether it's through the Goethe Institute or whether you're doing an exam at an English school and you're going with AQA or EdExcel or whichever one it is, for exams purposes, it is a good idea to find out exactly what they are looking for, because, of course, you want to do well in the exam. That is not so important if you're just learning German because you want to learn German, because then you can use what you like. But for exams purposes, you need to look a bit closer. I'm quite happy to have a look later on, but I don't really know that much myself, so I would have to have a bit of a Google.
Right. Okay. And can you just talk a little bit about the Ask Angelika Facebook group? how
Yes.
it can help people.
The Facebook group, as people, well, obviously, if people are watching this on Facebook, they know what Facebook is all about. The pages, the Facebook page where we're broadcasting this from now, is brilliant for me to post things. I can post links to my blog post. I can post links to any other interesting things that I find, and people can comment on it. What isn't so good is if somebody has a question, like Afshan's question, for example, yes, she can post it on the page, but it's usually not visible for other people or not that easy to find. I will get notification. So if she had posted it on the page, I would get notification and I could answer it. And sometimes if people can see it on the side, but unless it gets posted by me, it doesn't come up on people's timeline. And even if it does get posted by me, it might not come up on people's timeline because Facebook keeps on changing their rules all the time. So the group is a little bit better. I think somebody once compared a Facebook page with a shop window, and the group is when you're actually going inside. Because the group is where everybody can post. So if Afshan becomes a member of the group and posts her question in the group, even if I'm not online at the moment and somebody else in the group sees the question and says, oh, I know exactly where I can find these resources, they can then answer because they see the question like everybody else does. So the interaction is more possible, that we can actually talk to each other and ask questions and answer questions as well.
Right. Excellent. And just a reminder to anybody who's watching, if you have questions, please ask them. Angelika can see them and will answer them live on air. And I know you said not to do this, but I'm just going to read this out. Angelika has German language courses on Udemy and Skillshare, and I take them, and I'm a member of a group that meets every Wednesday evening, German tuition class, and very enjoyable this week, and thank you to everybody who was there. But if you want to learn German and you want to learn it at your own pace, then you'll find Angelika's Udemy courses and Skillshare courses of help. See, I did the advert there. There's no problem with that. Yeah. Right. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to mention today?
No, or possibly just to mention the group again. We can put a link in there. Well, I don't know how this works now, but I guess we'll put a link underneath for anybody else who hasn't joined the group yet. We're still fairly new and we haven't got that many members yet, but it's growing steadily. If you can't find a link, just look for Ask Angelika on search on the Facebook search button and come and join us. And you can ask any question there, especially if you don't really want to do this live on air in the group. As soon as we see the question, somebody will answer.
Wonderful. Because it is a group thing and everybody gets involved, and you can watch or the replay of this show in the group, and you can ask questions after the event. This is just the start of the video adventure, because this video will be on YouTube on Angelika's channel soon, well, within the next couple of days, and then promoted from there. So there we have it. That was episode 11 of Ask Angelika. Angelika, would you like to close?
Yes, okay, so thank you, Afshan, for the question. I will have a look and see if I can find out anything else. Maybe if you don't want to post it in the group, I'll post it there as well, because some other people, students who have studied with the Goethe Institute, may have some answers as well. And I'd love for anybody else to ask questions for the next episode in 2 weeks' time. And I'll see you then.
And I will see you then too. So have a great week, everybody. Take care. And Angelika will be back in 2 weeks' time to answer your questions about the German language.
I will. Tschüss.
Tschüss. And tschüss von mir. And if you have any questions for Angelika while we're broadcasting, if you do put them into the Facebook post, we'll see them live on BeLive.tv and Angelika will answer them. Now, today's question is, Kim, well, you tell me where you found it, and then you can talk.
We also find posts which say, actually, that's a lot of rubbish. You can learn a language quite well as an adult as well. So if we think back, how do children learn their own language? So a baby is born and it doesn't talk at all, it just screams, which is probably how about language learning in general, because people always think children learn their language really easy because everybody learns it and you just automatically do it. And you often find posts where people saying, oh, you need to learn a language when you're young because when you're old you can't really do it. And lucky.
Talk about it.
It was a question on Quora. Somebody there said, how do German children learn grammar? I think actually the question was, how do German children learn the German gender and all the different cases and everything that goes with it? And I answered it, but then afterwards it sort of got me thinking.
And welcome to Ask Angelika live on Facebook. Good afternoon, Angelika.
Good afternoon, Stephen. Good afternoon, anybody else.
Right. Well, good afternoon, everyone, really. This is Angelika's twice a month show, or bi-weekly, really.